Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Today is my December/Christmas book haul. So over Christmas, I acquired a lot of books. Some I bought, some were gifted to me. There are a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make this very rapid fire. I'll tell you what it is. I'll give you a very brief description of the book. I was sent a lot of these gifts by friends for Christmas. So what I will do is I will link everyone down below because I don't actually know which gifts are off which friend. So rather than go through it and look at all the gift notes and stuff, I will just tell you all of the gifts I've got. And then you can find the people that gifted them to me down in the description. So please make sure you check out there. Thank you so much. So one of the first books I got for Christmas was Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda. I saw the film for Love, Simon when it came out and I didn't know it was a book back then. Now I do, and I'm really interested. This is about a young lad called Simon who comes to realize that he is gay and finding a mysterious guy called Blue who he has only met online and wants to meet in real life. Next, I got a book called I Let You Go, which is by Claire Mackintosh. I have read this and I added it to my wish list because I wanted a complete collection of Claire Mackintosh's work, which I think I now have. I have all of them, I'm sure I do. So I'm very excited about this because I now have all of Claire Mackintosh's books. I've read this one and this one is absolutely amazing. So this follows a woman called Jenna Gray whose life is turned upside down by a tragic accident, and she tries to rebuild her life by moving to, I think it's like, yeah, she moves to Wales to try and recover from this life-shattering accident, and suddenly her past catches up with her. It is a great story, definitely a really good one to start with if you want to look at Claire Mackintosh's books. I absolutely love this book. Then I was gifted the book Haven't They Grown by Sophie Hannah. This one was so interesting to me. This story follows a woman who sees one of her old friends and meets her children. The children were 5 and 3 when she last saw them 12 years ago. So when she meets them again, she is shocked to realise that these children are still 5 and 3. And it's about figuring out how these children are still 5 and 3 when it's been a 12-year gap between seeing them and seeing them last. I also got gifted The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. I found out this is about to be made into a movie, which I'm really excited for. So this follows a woman who hasn't left her house in 10 months, and she just sits at the window and she sees a family across the window who are living like a picture-perfect life. Then one day she hears a scream and sees something terrifying, and she is now stuck with the knowledge because nobody will believe what she saw. I then got the book 10 by Gretchen McNeil. This was a book that I think I've heard about and was told not to waste my time because it's not a great story, and that made me want it even more. This is very much Agatha Christie and Then There Were None style. Some teens, I think, go to an island. Yeah, they go to an island for a house party, and there's a terrible storm raging and they all end up trapped and people start dying. Next, I got Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Again, I've never read a Riley Sager book. I got Final Girls for my birthday. I'm very excited to have Lock Every Door. I can't wait to read because everyone tells me Riley Sager is an absolutely amazing author. Lock Every Door, I think, is a story about a woman that takes up a job apartment sitting, and then when she hears from a neighbour some horrible things, she is then shocked to discover that the neighbour has gone missing, and the neighbour is not the first person to go missing in this apartment block. Then I got Far From You by Tess Sharp. This story follows a recovering drug addict when 9 months ago her best friend was murdered and it is deemed to be a drug deal gone wrong. Sophie, who is our main character, has spent months in rehab, and now she is finally out. She starts tracing down the killer of her best friend because she knows it was actually a planned murder and not a drug deal gone wrong. Then I got the story Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessel. I think this is a story, and it sounds really interesting, about a group of friends who are not really friends, and they end up in a car crash and they end up reliving the car crash over and over, and they have to make a choice that only one of them is allowed to survive, and they have to choose which one will make it out alive. Then I got the book What If It's Us by Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera. This story follows two characters, Arthur and Ben. Arthur is only in New York for the summer, and Ben has just gone through a breakup. They have a chance meeting at a post office, and then suddenly life is throwing them some what ifs. What if they find each other again? What if they try to make it work? And what if it doesn't? And I think it sounds really interesting. Cute little LGBT romance. Love Adam Silvera's work. I already own a Becky Albertelli book. I am very excited to try this one out. Then I got a duo from two separate people, so it was very good timing. I got book 2 and 3 of The Heroes of Olympus. This is book 2, which is The Son of Neptune, and book 3, which is The Mark of Athena. Both of these follow on from the Percy Jackson series. I think they are a direct continuation featuring new characters. I've not read book 1 yet, so I don't really know what these are about. I don't really want to know what these are about. I want to read book 1 and then go into these separately, so I can't really advise on what these are about, but I imagine very much along the lines of Percy Jackson. Then I got the book Texas Outlaw by James Patterson and Andrew... reading that name backwards didn't work. And Andrew Burrell. This is a sequel to a book called Texas Ranger, which I have got and not read, so I'm going to have to read that and then I can read this. Again, it's a sequel, don't really want to read what it's about, can't advise what it's about, but I'm assuming it's about a Texas Ranger. Then I got a copy of one of my favourite books of all time, and that is Flowers in the Attic by Virginia Andrews. I've mentioned this book a lot. It is literally one of my favourites. I've reread this book more times than I've read any other book, and this cover is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. It's very gothic, and I think that really suits the tone of the book. This story follows 4 children as they are forced to hide in an attic when their father dies, and their mother, who cannot afford to take care of them by herself, goes back to her family home that she has not been to for a long time in order to try and convince her father, who says she is not allowed to have children, to give her an inheritance back. That's what the story is about. It is beautiful. There is so much more than that description, but it's one of those stories where you have to go in with the basic knowledge, and then when you go into it, there is so much more. There is an extra layer. It's so good. This is the book I would recommend to anybody. I love it. A lot of content warnings though, so please check those out. Then I got the book Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I've wanted to read this for so long. This is a story about a young black boy who is shot to death by the police, and he comes back as a ghost and starts to try and help his family cope with the loss. But whilst he is a ghost, he sees that there are a lot of other ghost boys, all of whom share this tragic story. Next, I got a book called Heartstream, which is by Tom Pollock. I have been really anticipating this. This story follows an app where you can stream your feelings live. People can connect to them and feel exactly what you feel. This story follows a girl called Amy who has been streaming her mother's illness. And then on the day of her mother's funeral, Amy goes home and finds a man with a bomb strapped to him in her kitchen. And he says that it's time that they spoke. Next, I got the book Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This story follows 14 years after she goes missing. A young girl's remains were found, and one of her old friends, who is now a police officer, sets on the trail to find out what happened to her. This is written by Jennifer Hillier, who wrote one of my favourite books of 2020, which was Little Secrets, so I'm really excited to be trying out more of her work. Next, I got the book I'm a Therapist and My Patient is Going to Be the Next School Shooter. I have no idea what this is, but I'm a therapist and I wanted to read this book. This is by Dr. Harper and it follows 6 patient files from a therapist, and it sounds really interesting. It is all work of fiction, but it sounds really dark and gritty, and it sounds like there's a lot of truth to the story, and as a therapist I am just obsessed with this already and I can't wait to read it. Next, I got The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I don't know what this is about. I just know it's one of them that I get told I have to read often. It's an historical fiction, and I think Death is the main character. So it's narrated by Death, and it's the back doesn't even help. It just says it's just a small story really about, amongst other things, a girl, an accordionist, some fanatical Germans, a Jewish fistfighter, and quite a lot of thievery. That's all I know about it, and I'm really excited to read this book. Then I got the book Cress by Marissa Meyer. This is book 3, I think, in the Lunar Chronicles. Brooke has got book 1 and 2 waiting for me. I was meant to be going down to collect them way back in October. Didn't happen. Meant to be going in February. Not happening. So I think Brooke is actually just going to post me the first 2 books so I can actually start on this. But I'm really, really excited. I don't even want to know what's happening because third book in a series. Don't want to know if they connect or not. But I'm assuming this follows Rapunzel at some point, based on the cover. Then I got One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. This is a duology I have been meaning to read for a long time, and I never actually got around to it. To be honest, all I know about this is I think it's like 5 students go to detention and 4 come out alive, and it's about what happened. And then I think this one is a direct continuation, so I don't want to know anything. Then I also got the book Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. I thought this was part of that series. Apparently it is not. This is a standalone, and I am really excited to read this now that I know it's a standalone. It looks stunning and I can't wait to read it. This story follows a girl that went missing in 1995. Then 5 years ago, a young girl was found murdered, and now the killer claims to be back. There are 2 unsolved crimes and the threat of another one. Then finally, for the Christmas gifts, I got 20th Victim by James Patterson and Maxine Petro. This is a women's murder club novel. I have just finished book 9, so I'm nearly halfway, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, this, I don't want to know what it's about because I get 20th book in a series, which is technically the 22nd book in the series because there are 2 little novellas that kind of couple with this, but they do not have the numbers in the titles. So yes, this is book 20/22. Don't want to know what it's about. Don't want anything spoiled for me. But excited to read it. Now, moving on to other books. The first book I got was The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearce. This was an arc that was sent to me for a blog tour. This story follows an old sanatorium that has been converted into a hotel. This follows our main character Ellen, who is going to this old sanatorium because her brother is engaged. Then his fiancée goes missing, and whilst looking for her, they don't realise that there is another person that has gone missing, and it is the one person who could probably tell them about all of the dangers that lurk in this old sanatorium. Just to note on the sanatorium, it comes out in February of 2021, so if this sounds interesting, go and check it out, get some pre-orders in. Then a book I bought myself earlier in the month using some Christmas money was The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. This is book 3 in the Truly Devious series. Again, can't tell you anything about it, don't want to know, want to go into it blind because this could spoil what happens in book 1 and 2, and I don't want that. At the same time I bought The Hand on the Wall, I bought myself The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is the second book in the Eldest Curses. Yes, this is going to be a trilogy, and it follows the character Magnus Bane. And I think that cover is absolutely stunning. But on top of that, if you wanted, there is also a reverse cover that you could have, and I think that that's stunning. And the book is white because it's the Lost Book of the White. Basically, I wanted this because I'm nearly at the Eldest Curses trilogy, and I want to be able to read them. But all of my other books are in paperback. This one is hardback, so I'm looking at getting the paperback eventually when it comes out. But for now, I have a hardback copy, and really it is absolutely stunning. Then in my first Fairy Loot box, I got the book Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. This was for the month Thick as Thieves, and it sounds really interesting. I don't know much about this. I know it's about the Fae, I know it's about a prophecy and thieves and a band of people thieving. I don't really know anything about it, but I'm actually really excited to read this. It sounds interesting. I'm trying to get more into fantasy, so this is perfect. It's a beautiful cover. It has got glittery sprayed edges. It is signed by both authors. If you can, yes, you can see that. It's got beautiful end pages. It's got that on the cover, and it's got beautiful reverse artwork on the dust jacket. It's a stunning edition of the book, and I'm really excited to read it. And finally, just before Christmas, an author reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to read his self-published book. I said absolutely, because I have some plans coming up, maybe in February, maybe March, I'm not sure, but I have plans. So he sent me a copy of his book, which is Hourglass, and this is by Daniel James. So this story follows a boy called Clive, who is a comic book artist, and then suddenly he comes home to find that the ghost of his best friend Kev is in his apartment, and they try to recover some sort of status quo that they had before and try and navigate this new relationship they have to have. Then an agent from a company called Hourglass turns up and offers them a chance to educate themselves on why Kev is back. Clyde accepts the offer, but then he starts to realise that this goes a lot deeper and a lot darker than he could have imagined. This sounds very strange, very interesting. If it appeals to you, I will leave a link to the Amazon page down below where you can find this book. Definitely check it out if you fancy it. I can't wait to read this. And that was 28 books that I hauled in December for Christmas or for other reasons. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Did you haul any books for Christmas? If so, drop me a comment down below to let me know what you got, because I'm really interested to know what you guys got for Christmas. Other than that, guys, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.